Okay, so it is municipal election season in the province of BC. And yeah, don't mind the crazy neighbor. So there's elections happening all across BC. I keep getting calls to do with the Vancouver election. I don't live in Vancouver anymore, but I did for 40 years and was quite active politically. So I'm on a lot of lists that people would be calling. And I got a call. I just come out of the shower. I look at my call display. Missed call from somebody by the name of Likely Fraud. Have you ever seen that before in your call display? Somebody calls you up and their name comes up on the call display as Likely Fraud. That's intriguing in Richmond, BC. Well, we do know that that is a hotbed of fraud. But anyways, that's besides the point. So, Likely Fraud. And they even left a voicemail. So we can hear the voicemail. I'm gonna play it for you. Give me a sec. Come on. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, this is the one that we want to hear.
2561 info@progressvancouver.ca.
This is Christy Clark. I'm the former Premier of British Columbia, and I'm a longtime Liberal. And I'm calling you about Vancouver's municipal election. I'm really worried about the future of our city. We just don't have the leadership we need to get housing built and to make our streets safer.
Well, that's true.
I'm asking you to support Mark Marissen for Mayor of Vancouver. I think he'll make a great mayor, and I really love his policy to defer property taxes for first-time home buyers. Mark,
Pay your
he's a
taxes.
leader. I trust him. He'll keep the dream of home ownership alive in Vancouver, and he'll make our city more affordable so our kids and our grandchildren can afford to live here too. Ken Sim doesn't have a plan, and in your heart of hearts, you know we can't afford another mayor who won't get anything done. Mark Marissen will. I hope you'll join me in voting for him.
Authorized by Ed.
Okay. Isn't that hilarious? Like, you would think that it was from one of their opponents. Like, that is Christy Clark, the former Premier of BC, of the BC Liberals, which are a totally corrupt party. They just changed their name because of their corruption. They need to rebrand themselves. So now they're calling themselves, what is it, the BC Unity Party? And it was under her watch as Premier that all the money laundering went out of control in real estate and casinos and really drove the cost of housing through the roof. And it was illegal stuff going on, money laundering. And so the fact that she's calling from a number, stumping for a mayoral candidate, under the name, and the name comes up on the call display as Likely Fraud. Yeah, likely it is fraud. When you're dealing with the BC Liberals or Christy Clark, likely you are dealing with fraud. So that is very appropriate. I mean, I didn't enter that in like that. I have no idea why that was coming up as likely fraud, but I think that is hilarious. That is the second call, by the way, I've gotten from somebody campaigning for Mark Marissen. I don't like that bitch, okay? I've walked away from the left wing myself, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to support Mark Marissen. Yeah, I think the current mayor of Vancouver is a total clown and has made the city worse. So I certainly wouldn't be voting for him or any of the left-wing parties. Okay, she mentioned Ken Sim. That would be the one who gets my vote. That would be the one who is the most reasonable and has the best approaches. She talked about deferring property taxes for first-time homebuyers. No way! If you have enough money to buy a house in Vancouver, you can pay your taxes. No, they don't get to not pay their taxes. But that's not really the main point. Yeah, when somebody called for me the other day to campaigning for Mark Marissen, I was like, well, I don't live in Vancouver anymore. I consider it to be a cesspool. And I do. But I just thought that was hilarious. The former Premier of BC calls from a number that comes up on the call display, likely fraud. Yeah, it likely is fraud when you're dealing with Christy Clark and the BC Liberals.